That was your foray into filmmaking.
And
your engagement video was your foray.
I was making music videos before, and I grew up watching.
She told People there were several reasons why Justin Baldoni had made her feel uncomfortable on set, using what many critics describe as a commonly used feminist buzzword, uncomfortable. The claim quickly became part of a much larger conversation online and in entertainment media about what had actually happened behind the scenes. At the time, Liz Plank was co-hosting the Man Enough podcast alongside Baldoni, a show that often focused on conversations about modern masculinity, social issues, and personal growth. However, as soon as Blake Lively filed her complaint, Plank stepped away from the podcast almost immediately and publicly announced that she was quitting. She framed her decision as a show of support and solidarity with Lively, saying that after everything that had come out, she felt it was the right thing to do. Her departure was sudden enough that it immediately caught the attention of fans and observers, many of whom wondered whether she had spoken privately with Baldoni or heard his side of the story before making such a firm public decision. As the controversy continued to grow, people on social media began looking deeper into the timeline of events and the relationships between the individuals involved. One person who gained particular attention during this wave of online investigation was a TikTok creator known as Steph. With the deets, she posted a series of videos analyzing the situation and suggesting that there might be another explanation behind why Plank appeared to side so quickly with Lively. According to her theory, the situation might have been influenced by a pattern that critics claim resembles a strategy sometimes associated with Ryan Reynolds, often described as love bombing. In this context, the idea is that someone builds strong personal connections and loyalty through excessive friendliness, praise, or attention, which can lead people around them to instinctively defend or support them without fully examining all sides of a conflict. While this interpretation remains speculative, it gained traction online because it seemed to offer a possible explanation for the rapid shift in alliances that many viewers had noticed. Liz Plank also became a focal point of discussion for another reason before this controversy. Many members of the general public had never heard her name. Although she had an established presence in media circles, she was not a household name in the same way that major Hollywood figures are. She had built much of her professional identity as a media personality, a commentator and writer who often spoke about feminism, culture, and social issues. Because of that background, some commentators argued that she may have felt pressure to take a clear public stance once the allegations surfaced, especially in a moment when social media often expects immediate reactions. Others believed she may have simply chosen to stand with someone she trusted. Either way, her decision to leave the podcast so abruptly intensified the spotlight on the entire situation and fueled ongoing debates about loyalty, public image, and the complexities of navigating controversies in the entertainment industry. Just as the story seemed to be settling into a familiar pattern of online debate, it took another unexpected turn. Conservative commentator Candace Owens claimed that she had obtained and leaked a list of alleged victims connected to Hollywood star Blake Lively. The claim immediately sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, sparking a frenzy of speculation and discussion. Although the alleged list reportedly lacked detailed information or verified evidence, the mere suggestion that such a document existed was enough to ignite widespread rumors across social media platforms, gossip forums, and entertainment news outlets. Hollywood insiders were said to be scrambling to understand whether the claim had any substance and what the possible consequences might be if more information were to emerge. Owens has built a reputation for making bold and often controversial statements about public figures and cultural issues, hinted that the revelation could potentially uncover secrets from Lively's past that had remained hidden for years. Her comments alone were enough to push the situation into an even more intense spotlight, with fans and critics alike trying to piece together what might actually be true. At the same time, many observers pointed out that without confirmed details or credible sources, the claims remained unvetted. Still, in an industry where public perception can shift overnight, even rumors have the power to reshape narratives and influence how audiences view celebrities. As speculation continued to swirl, questions began to multiply. What exactly had been revealed, if anything? Was there real evidence behind the claims, or was it simply another example of the internet amplifying rumors before facts were established? And perhaps the biggest question of all was whether these unfolding controversies could threaten the carefully cultivated public image that Blake Lively has maintained throughout her career. For years, she has been widely seen as one of Hollywood's most polished and respected figures, known not only for her acting but also for her fashion influence, business ventures, and high-profile marriage to Ryan Reynolds. Because of that reputation, any allegation, whether confirmed or not, has the potential to create massive waves within the entertainment world. In the end, the entire situation illustrates how quickly a single controversy can expand into a complex web of speculation, online investigation, and competing narratives. What began as claims of discomfort on a film set evolved into a much larger discussion involving podcast departures, social media analysis, theories about personal influence, and even dramatic allegations circulating through Hollywood rumor mills. Until verified information emerges, much of the story remains uncertain. But the intense public reaction shows just how closely audiences follow the lives of celebrities and how rapidly the internet can transform individual claims into global headlines amid the growing chaos surrounding the controversy. An old interview from 2009 with Glamour UK resurfaced and quickly began circulating online, adding yet another layer to the ongoing debate. In that interview, Blake Lively spoke candidly about the early days of Gossip Girl and admitted that when she first learned Penn Badgley had been cast in the series, she wasn't particularly happy about it. According to Lively, her reaction at the time was strong enough that she tried to influence the rest of the cast against him. She even joked in the interview, saying, "I actually poisoned the whole cast against him." Although the comments seemed dramatic, she later softened the claim by explaining that her feelings changed once filming began. She said that Badgley's personality on set, his charm, authenticity, and easygoing nature eventually won everyone over, including her, and the tension faded as they worked together. However, the narrative becomes less clear when considering comments from another Gossip Girl star, Taylor Momsen. Momsen later suggested that she had no negative memories of Badgley during that time and did not recall any kind of widespread tension involving him on set. Her account contrasts sharply with Lively's earlier remark about turning the cast against him, leading some observers to wonder whether Lively's comment had been exaggerated for humor, misinterpreted in hindsight, or possibly shaped to fit a particular narrative about the early dynamics of the show. The contradiction between the two recollections has prompted fans and commentators to revisit the story with fresh skepticism. It raises a broader question about what the actual atmosphere on set was like during those early years and whether Lively's description of events was meant literally or simply as a dramatic anecdote told years later in an interview. For critics and commentators already examining Lively's public image, the resurfaced interview has become another piece of a much larger puzzle. Some have speculated about whether it reflects a pattern of strong personality dynamics behind the scenes, while others argue that such comments are often taken out of context, especially when they resurfaced more than a decade later in a completely different environment of online scrutiny. In the world of celebrity interviews, playful or sarcastic remarks can easily be reinterpreted once they are viewed through the lens of current controversies. Still, the discussion surrounding the quote has fueled ongoing speculation about power dynamics within Hollywood productions and how personal relationships between cast members can shape the tone of a project. At the same time, the situation has become even more complicated due to a separate legal conflict that is now unfolding. Crisis management expert Jed Wallace has reportedly filed a defamation lawsuit against Lively, claiming that she falsely accused him of orchestrating an online smear campaign designed to damage her reputation. According to Wallace, the accusation has caused serious harm to his professional standing and credibility within his industry. He argues that being publicly linked to such an operation has negatively affected his business and reputation, prompting him to seek legal action in an effort to clear his name. Lawsuits involving defamation can often become lengthy and complex, and the case has already drawn attention from legal analysts and entertainment commentators who are watching closely to see how the claims and counterclaims develop. This legal battle adds yet another complicated chapter to what has already become an increasingly tangled web of public controversies surrounding Lively. Her own legal filings have also sparked intense discussion after, including claims that a man allegedly entered her room without permission while she was breastfeeding. The allegation immediately caught attention due to the sensitive nature of the situation. However, conflicting accounts later emerged suggesting that the individual in question may have actually been allowed into the room under certain circumstances. Because of these differing descriptions, it remains unclear whether the situation was the result of a misunderstanding during a stressful moment, or whether there were deeper issues at play. Without definitive evidence, the details remain disputed, leaving observers unsure about what truly happened. Meanwhile, additional stories from Lively's professional history have begun resurfacing as the controversy continues to grow. Reports connected to the production of the film A Simple Favor claim that tensions may have developed on set during filming. According to some accounts, assistant director Barbara Seaman was allegedly pushed close to resigning because of what sources described as difficult or demanding behavior from Lively. These claims have circulated widely in entertainment media, though, as with many behind-the-scenes reports from film sets, the full context and accuracy of the stories remain difficult to confirm. Film productions are often high-pressure environments where disagreements and stress are not uncommon, but once such accounts reach the public sphere, they can quickly shape perceptions of a celebrity's professional reputation. The controversy doesn't stop there. A much older incident, dating back nearly 2 decades, has also resurfaced online and added yet another layer to the discussion. A former intern named Gia recently shared her recollection of working on the set of The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants when Lively was just 17 years old. According to Gia, her role on set was relatively minor, and one of her tasks involved handing out water bottles to cast and crew members. She explained that she never had a direct conversation with Lively and only briefly passed her in a green room area while doing her job. Despite this limited interaction, Gia claims that Lively later accused her of behaving like a fan and making her feel uncomfortable. The claim surprised many observers because Gia insists there had been virtually no interaction between them at all. As these various stories, lawsuits, and resurfaced anecdotes continue circulating, they have combined to create a complex narrative that is difficult to untangle. Each piece of information, whether an old interview, a personal recollection, or an ongoing legal dispute, adds another perspective to the public conversation about Lively's career and reputation. Some observers believe the stories reveal patterns of tension and controversy, while others caution that many of the claims remain unverified or lack full context. In the fast-moving world of celebrity news, individual moments from different time periods can easily become woven together into a larger narrative, even when the facts behind them remain uncertain. For now, the questions surrounding these events continue to spark debate, leaving fans, critics, and industry insiders all trying to determine where the truth ultimately lies. For the young intern, the accusation was both terrifying and isolating, leaving her feeling vulnerable, unfairly singled out, and unsure of how to navigate a professional environment where power dynamics were heavily skewed. The incident raises broader questions about how Blake Lively's perception of interactions may have impacted those around her, and whether similar patterns of miscommunication, tension, or perceived intimidation could have occurred in other professional settings over the years. It also highlights the way seemingly minor interactions can be magnified when viewed through the lens of celebrity scrutiny, illustrating the lasting effects that even brief encounters can have on individuals in subordinate positions. Taken together, all of these revelations paint a complex and multifaceted portrait of Lively's career and personal conduct, from the alleged manipulations on The Gossip Girl, set to high-profile legal disputes in the present day. The leaked list by Candace Owens, combined with resurfaced interviews, social media analysis, and ongoing lawsuits, has placed Lively under an unprecedented level of public and industry scrutiny. Fans, critics, and insiders alike are now forced to reconsider the carefully cultivated image of Lively as Hollywood's polished golden girl, questioning how much of her persona has been shaped by media narratives versus private behavior behind the scenes. Each new claim, whether it involves alleged workplace toxicity, interpersonal conflicts, or ambiguous personal allegations, adds another layer to an already tangled web of controversy. These accounts collectively challenge the notion that Lively has remained untouchable in the entertainment world and underscore the fragility of celebrity reputations when multiple narratives converge. The controversy demonstrates how decades of anecdotes, legal disputes, and resurfaced statements can coalesce into a larger cultural conversation about power, influence, and accountability in Hollywood. As the allegations continue to accumulate and legal ramifications evolve, one thing becomes clear: the Blake Lively saga is far from over. The full scope of these claims, spanning decades, personal interactions, and professional disputes, has the potential to leave a lasting impact on her public image, her career opportunities, and even on the people who have crossed paths with her professionally. For viewers and followers, the story represents a vivid case study in the complexities of celebrity culture, the challenges of navigating public perception, and the enduring consequences of actions that may have gone unnoticed until now. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next in-depth exploration of this unfolding saga. The story of Blake Lively's rise, the controversies that have followed her, and the unraveling of her public image is far from complete, and with each new revelation, the next chapter promises to be just as explosive, compelling, and closely watched by fans and industry observers alike.